in my wildest dreams did I ever think that I'd produce a video about this. But it's something that I believe in because it's helped me in my health journey substantially, which is why I thought I'd take you along with me while I get an actual colonic.
And here you go.
Oh, stuff is moving.
So can you feel that, the pressure?
Oh, I can feel that.
Yeah. Oh my God.
You can say that things got a little bit interesting. You see, I figured that if I brought you along with me, it would be an amazing opportunity to be able to answer some of the questions that you guys had, like, what's the difference between a colonic and an enema, and what about a coffee enema? Are they really safe to get, and who shouldn't do them? How often do I need to get one? How do I find a good colon hydrotherapist? How do I prep for one, and what do I do afterwards? I got so many questions when I asked you guys about the topic of colonics, and I was surprised to find out that 90% of you guys want to see what comes out of the tube. Yes, folks, in this video, I'm bearing all. And don't worry, if you are one of the few who are a little bit queasy and you really could care less what comes out of the tube, don't worry, I will give you due notice so that you can look away. And for the 90% of you who want to see what comes out of me, you're my kind of people. Trust me when I say that you are gonna wanna stick around because, well, this video is gonna shock you. Are you ready? If so, let's do this. Hey there, Melissa Ramos here, nutritionist with a background in Chinese medicine and owner of Sexy Food Therapy, helping women with their hormonal and autoimmune conditions with a little bit of sass. And before we begin, I want to be able to remind you that I publish videos every single Wednesday, so make sure to subscribe and don't forget to hit that little bell button. That way you get notified every single time a new episode drops. All right, so let's dive in because we have a lot to cover. The first thing you might be wondering is, why do I get colonics? The reality is that they've been instrumental to my hormonal journey. I started to get them when I was about 24 years old, and at the time I was struggling with some pretty bad IBS symptoms. Despite eating well and doing all the right things, I probably would poop every 3 to 4 days. And because of all of this, I wrestled with adult acne, depression, fatigue, and even weight gain. At the time, I was going once a week for several months, and it really helped me to regulate my bowels, it cleared up my skin, I regained my energy, and it even helped with my weight at the time. Now, I go probably about twice a year, around the spring and the fall time, but this time in particular, I went to go for a colonic because I put myself on an autoimmune protocol, which I've been working on because I have Hashimotos, an autoimmune thyroid condition. And newsflash, all autoimmune conditions ain't nothing but a symptom, and working on the gut is absolutely crucial. In fact, because I've been working on my gut so heavily, my antibodies have improved, I've been able to regrow my hair, it stopped falling out, and more importantly, I've even been able to really regain back my energy. So here's what I've done. I've compiled these tools which have helped me and many of my patients, plus I've included a hair loss check sheet, and you can grab all of that in my autoimmune guide simply by clicking the link in the comments. And by the way, it's absolutely free. Now, the reason why I think it's super important to be able to get a colonic while you're on a detox protocol is because you have to make sure that your elimination pathways are open, and your bowels are one of them. Otherwise, it's kind of like trying to kick out the drunk guy from a bar with the doors locked. It just doesn't work. When I arrived, Michelle had me put on a pair of women's scrub pants, which had a hole in the back for easy access. I change, get on the table, and then make myself comfy. Now, many of you guys have asked me, how do you identify who's a good colon hydrotherapist? Personally, when I'm looking for a good colon hydrotherapist, I want to make sure that A, they're a certified colon hydrotherapist, and B, I want to understand how long have they been in practice for. Michelle Bird, for example, has been in practice for well over 20 years. Another question that you guys had was, what's the difference between an open and closed system? So I asked.
What's the difference between an opened and closed system?
So this is closed. Closed meaning water goes from a tank into your body and out to the sewer. So everything that goes in and out is closed. There's no water spraying, there's no fecal going down into, so an open system is where you're laying on a bed. You can typically do them by yourselves. The speculum is about the size of your baby finger, and basically water's going up into your body, but is continually coming out into an open reservoir down into the sewer. So this is closed, all clean, no mess.
I learned that in a closed system, you have a practitioner present with you who can introduce the water into your bowels to see how much you can take and tolerate. In an open system, you can typically do these by yourself and, you know, light some candles and get into the mood. All jokes aside, I get it. It can look a little bit intimidating at first, and this is usually what people's apprehensions are is, what the heck goes inside of me?
I always tell people it's about the size of your thumb. That's what's going into the body. The stopper stops it there. Once this is inserted into the bottom, we take the obturator out. The water hooks on here, and then once it's inserted in your body, the exit tube hooks onto the bottom. So the speculum looks like it's fairly big, but that's the only part that goes into you.
And don't worry, folks, it gets lubed up.
And then I go for extra.
Okay.
She ain't playing. Michelle connected the water tube, and then that water runs through a charcoal filter and UV light, and then fills up the holding tank. That way, everything's purified. She then massaged my ileocecal valve, which then dumps into the colon, and side note, none of this was uncomfortable for me.
So if there's discomfort in this area, it can sometimes mean that the ileocecal valve is staying open, either blocked with fecal and or parasites can cause grief in this area. So if there's no discomfort, that's a good sign.
Yeah, it feels good.
I rolled over to my side, tucked my legs in a bit, I took a deep breath in and, well, cracked a joke.
Buy me a drink first, hey?
Then eventually you lay flat on your back and relax. Okay, so how do you prep for a colonic?
The thing you have to remember is don't eat or drink 2 hours before the colonic.
Right.
You don't want to fill up your bladder, and you don't want your digestive system to be working. We want everything calm. If you want to take, magnesium powder at night to help loosen the stool, magnesium draws water into the colon, so it helps to loosen the fecal matter, and that helps for us to get it out a little bit quicker.
Here are some interesting facts. The colon is 5 feet long, and it takes 1 pound of pressure to fill up the entire colon with agua. And a colonic, just so you know, is a lot more thorough than an enema. But if an enema is all that's available to you, then that's absolutely better than nothing, especially if you're detoxing. So what about coffee enemas? A coffee enema is certainly not an apples to apples comparison with colonics. Coffee enemas support liver function. They dilute bile, they dilate blood vessels, and they enhance glutathione S-transferase, thus facilitating the phase 2 liver detoxification pathway. And hey, listen, I get it. They seem kind of woo, right? They've been ridiculed before. Until they made it into the Bible of medicine, the Merck Manual. One of the questions I got was, how young can someone be to receive a colonic?
Well, I have child speculums, and I have treated a few children. They were about the age of 11 to 14. Parents have to be in the room and sign a waiver, but they were children that were really, really, really in trouble and backed up and impacted. So I have seen children as young as that, but I would say when you're 18 and you're on your own and out of the house and you want to start taking care of your own health is a good time to start.
And fun fact, Michelle's oldest client is in his 80s, and he attributes to looking and feeling amazing to getting annual colonics. Okay, so this begs the question, who shouldn't get colonics?
The contraindications for colon therapy is if you've had any surgeries on the bowel. It's a weak spot. So we can't give anybody that's had a surgery on the bowel a colonic because of the pressure. The other people would be uncontrolled hypertension, people with kidney insufficiencies because we put a lot of water through the colon in 45 minutes and that can be taxing on the kidneys. People who have fissures in the anal area or like huge hemorrhoids that would, if we were to put speculum in, could rip and cause them bleeding.
Also diverticulitis.
Yeah, that's a tough one because again, it's an outpouching on the colon, which is a weak spot, and so we have to be really, really careful with diverticulitis. Yeah.
I realize there are probably still many of you guys who are still pretty apprehensive, and you might be wondering, how does it feel? Does it hurt? So just so you guys are aware about what my personal experience was, it didn't hurt. Although when it does hit a gas pocket, it certainly can be a little bit uncomfortable. However, I've had patients who've mentioned that they felt really hot and tingly when they've had colonics. And so when I asked Michelle, she had mentioned that the reason that this happens is due to toxins passing through and oftentimes even congestion.
Oh my god!
You can do it, you can do it.
This is
the parasites, and they make you feel pretty awful when they leave. Because they're leaving at a very rapid rate.
Are you seeing any parasites?
No, they're too small.
Or like if you see anything, please let me know. That would be so much fun.
Okay guys, so this is when I'm gonna show you what comes out of me. So if you are queasy, now is the time to look away, but don't worry, I will prompt you when it's time to look back again.
Oh my god.
This is the mother load, Melissa. This is the mother load. This is the tube. Your body is totally kicking in and purging all of that out.
God.
Yeah. This is what we want to see. Well done. And that is one pill.
Okay, I am done showing you the poop part, but I will stand to mention that that was probably the most I have ever passed during a colonic.
Oh my God, there's so much more coming out.
And so that again indicates you have a strong colon, just so you know.
Okay.
So this is coming out really fast.
Okay.
That means you've got a strong colon and it wants these toxins out.
I feel like it's gonna go all over the table.
No, you're doing well. You're doing well.
And if you ever feel the way that I did during a colonic, don't worry about it. You're not gonna poop all over the table. Now here's a little interesting thing that I noticed about getting colonics. Now before I get into that, I wanna just let you guys know that I am a huge nerd and I love tracking things, specifically my sleep stats. One of the measurements that I track is my HRV. It stands for heart rate variability. Now, prior to going to see Michelle, because I was on this detox, my heart rate variability seemed to be a little bit on the lower side. I knew that my nervous system was possibly working overtime. After getting a colonic, my heart rate variability jumped up by 10 points. So in other words, if your body is stressed, your nervous system is going to struggle and your sleep quality will suffer. So after my colonic, after I passed the mother load, something awfully strange came out of me. It was like these little white cotton balls with little black specks in them. Here's my explanation for this. Now, because I've been doing so much gut work, one of the things that I've been working on is removing biofilm, which is this sticky, slimy thing that parasites and bacteria create and they hide behind. So that, I would believe, is the explanation of what came out of me. During my session, Michelle gave me a massage to help to move things along. And what continued to pass were specks. Now this might not seem like a lot of progress, but what Michelle had explained to me was these little specks are often what the remnants are that really are along the intestinal wall, and they're oftentimes the most toxic. And if you didn't know this already, parasites can burrow in the mucous membranes of the intestinal walls, liver, and gallbladder. A huge apprehension I receive is this: won't this cause an electrolyte or bacterial imbalance in the gut?
So, because we are putting a lot of water into the colon, there is a chance of that. And after every colonic, I give my clients an electrolyte drink to rebalance the system, get them all sorted away, and I give them probiotics.
Yeah, because there was also an issue. People were like, what about your microbiome? Does it disrupt your microbiome?
Right, and you know what? No, most people in this world are extremely acidic and their colon is filled with toxins, so you're not able to grow the good bugs that need to grow there. They need a proper pH. And so by cleaning out the colon, we put it in a more alkaline state, which is better for the good bugs to grow.
So going back to the question about how do you find a good colon hydrotherapist, ask them if they give you a probiotic or even electrolyte replacement thereafter. And if they don't, bring your own. At the end of the session, we did something that I've never had done before with past colon hydrotherapists, and that was she had me hold chlorophylled water in my bowels for 3 minutes. I even brought my own mineral drops so that she can add them in so they can be readily absorbed. Then, once that was done, I rolled over to my left side, the device was removed, and I got up and went to the bathroom to expel what's left. Okay, that's it. I hope you dug this video. It certainly was detailed in more ways than one. But listen, if you are struggling with an autoimmune condition, I would highly suggest that you download my free autoimmune guide, because I've put together these amazing tools that I really think will help you. So make sure you go grab that by clicking the link in the comments. Oh, and if you love the videos that I crank out every single week, one great way that you can support me is to simply like this video, tag a friend, share it, and I'm a little bit nervous to ask you to leave a comment, but I sincerely want to know what you guys thought, because your word matters. And don't forget to subscribe, because a brand new episode drops every single Wednesday. I'll see you next time.